Alright boys, in today's video we have the second installment of the free-to-play series, and in this video I'm going to go over a bunch of different tips for beginners and what you should actually be fighting to start. So, we're going to go over a lot in this video, but if I do miss anything, feel free to just add it down in the comments and just say like any tips that you've come across playing Grand Summoners. So we're going to start right here on the home page. First tip, just do your missions. So right here we have the crossover missions. There's plenty of them in here. A lot of them you're not going to be able to do right away. Like clearing chapter 10 is going to take a little bit. Clearing Knights of Blood is going to take a little bit. Any EX quests and side stories, it's going to take a little bit. But like awakening or ascending a unit, I'm not sure if expeditions counts, but if it does, that's pretty easy. Or you just gotta play for like a couple days and you should be able to get one unit awoken kind of easily. But then like these ones down here, exchanging equips, you can do that pretty easily. And enhancing equips, super easy. Just playing the game right here, you just have to clear the crossover event in multiplayer, or down here you can just clear it not in multiplayer. These ones right here, there's tons of missions you can do. So those are the crossover missions. Then you have the starter missions. These ones are all pretty easy, just like awaken a unit, limit break and equip, clearing chapters, initiations, multiplayer, super easy. And then we have the other missions right here. So you have daily missions. These reset every day, so you can get a free gem every single day. And then the weekly challenges, these reset every week. You can get an LB stone of some sort every week for free. And then these missions, most of these, some of these, like, they'll just go after you complete them once. But then the ones, I don't even know what I just clicked on. But back in here to the missions, the ones that are further down, my mouse is tweaking right now, but the ones that are further down, like all these ones, you clear them and they're gone. But these ones down here, like they're just infinite. Like signing in, you're gonna get gems every like 30 days you sign in. This one also goes, I think it goes to like 2,000 or something. So on the 500 day of signing in, you're gonna get 500 gems. On 1,000 you get 500. On 1,500 you get 500. That might be where it ends, not sure. Rank up rewards, those go forever. Clearing quests goes forever. And just, I'm pretty sure most of these just go on for a while. So tons of rewards in here. And then the limited missions, these ones just pertain to whatever like event is happening at the time. So right now the mines, reaching different floors of the mines, you can get tons of gold, tons of gems. And then right here we have, this pertains to the, I think it's the main story or the side story with Minas. This does. And you can get an LB stone. You can get a ton of gems. So just make sure you're doing your missions. There's so many rewards for missions. Okay. And then next up we have gifts. So right here is your little gift box. Just make sure you're claiming everything in here because you can get a ton of good stuff and just for free. So definitely do that. And then we have expedition. So expedition is an extremely useful way to level up and ascend a new unit. So I already got Shiro to level 90 using my expedition, and now he is in here getting ascended for completely free. And it's just going to take 8 days for that to happen. So it does take a little bit, but it's extremely useful for a new to play player because taking 8 days to ascend a unit is a lot easier than going to exploring, going to a giant boss, and playing a summoner's road to get the soul gems to actually ascend the unit. So extremely useful for free to play and beginners. You can also do this with your equips to just level them up or limit break them. And then the way you can actually make your whole expedition better is right here, this missions button. Just playing the game. Once you clear any of these, you can get, so like the Tower of Initiation. Okay, that was the wrong button, but if we go back to the missions, Tower of Initiation, I think this one right here, yep. So you can see what you actually get for clearing them. So if I clear these, I'm going to get unit level up speed up. And then like if we clear the main story, I'm pretty sure a lot of these, like right here, you get unit capacity for beating Defier of Fate. So unit capacity means that I'll actually unlock one of these slots. So then I can do even more. and I can level up and ascend more units at once. So Expedition is extremely useful. Okay, and then next up we are going to go over the summons page. So I'm going to be talking about what I would recommend summoning for. And a very general rule of thumb is to either spend 50 gems or 1500 gems on a banner. So right here, we're going to look at the Fate banner. So usually there's a purple button here for the first summon, but I already did it, so it's not there anymore. A purple button that guarantees you a 5-star. That would be 50, okay? So you either do that, or you're going to spend 1500 gems to pity. So pitying right here, every time you summon, you're going to get a hero gem, and then you can trade your hero gems for anything in here. So if you get to 30, which is 1500 crystals, then you can pity anybody from the crossover that you want. So that's why you would either want to do a 50, just do your guaranteed and stop there, or 1500, and then you can pity any unit you want. And then some other things you can grab here are the true weapons. Wouldn't really recommend spending hero gems on true weapons. I would just recommend getting the unit. Or if you only do one, I would recommend getting a rainbow gem if you can. If there isn't an option for rainbow gems, just get alch stones. That's pretty much it. Most of the time, like if you do go deep enough, I would just recommend spending a little bit of extra gems to pity a unit. Or, you know, if you only do like 4 pulls, you just grab a rainbow gems. But usually the rule is 50 or 1500. You don't really want to be caught in between where you spend like 1,000 gems and then you're just down 1,000 gems and you don't quite have enough to pity. Just make sure you have 1500 gems if you're going to pity. Guys, you never know what happens. You might just get completely shafted and then you just have nothing to show for it. Okay, and then now we're going to go over the crossovers. So with crossovers, this is where I would recommend you spend most of your crystals. Because, you know, this is the fun part of the game. And there's so many units on this banner that are good. So I would recommend you spend your crystals on crossovers. Okay. And if you're going to pity, I would recommend you pity on a crossover. Because, you know, there's so many different units you can pick up. And if I, like on my way to pity, let's say I want Summer Luvia and Rin right here. On my way to pity her, there is a pretty good chance I end up getting another unit from the crossover. And then, you know, I'm happy. I get multiple units and I end up pitying Summer, Luvia, and Rin. So, would recommend you spend most of your crystals on crossovers. And then we have the Alch for the crossovers. Where's the Alch? Okay, most of the time, I would not recommend you spend your Alch on the crossover Alch banner. This one right here is kind of an exception because there is 12 crossover units on this banner, and that's kind of a lot, and they're all really good. So for specifically Fate, I guess the Alch summon isn't that bad, but any other crossover, I would not recommend you do this Alch pull. It's just the rates are very, very low, so just be careful with that. I would not recommend you spend your Alchs on the crossover Alch banner. Okay. And then we have crossover equips. So right here is the equip summon number 1 and then the equip summon number 2 because, you know, Fate is just a huge crossover. So they have 2 separate banners. But I would recommend that you do some pulls for equips. Equips are extremely important and they will make or break your account. So there's a bunch of equips on this banner that are super good. So I would heavily recommend that you spend some crystals on equips. They're very, very useful. And I think that's it for crossovers. Now we're going to go to the GS specific banners. So right now we have the All-Star banner. Usually it's going to be just targeted to one unit. So the last one that we had was Platina. And I'm thinking the next one we'll have is either going to be Charlotte or Orville. But most of the time on these banners, you're just going to want to do your guaranteed and then get out. Unless it is a game-breaking unit that you have enough gems to pity, I would recommend just do your guaranteed and get out. I don't really recommend you pity on most of the GS banners. The All-Star banner, again, this one is an exception. This is a very good banner for new players. For veteran players, it's not good, but for new players, this is the best banner in the game. Just because every unit in the game is on this banner, and you have a high chance of getting just a ton of new units if you summon on it. But for most other GS banners, I would not recommend that you just put a bunch of gems into them, because even if you get the unit you want, or like, let's say this was the Mina's banner, right? It's just Mina's. So you want to get Mina's. You're going to spend 1,500 gems. On your way to pity her, there is a low chance that you get any other good unit, because usually these banners only have 1 or 2 good units. So the chance that you get another good unit is very low. So I would recommend, if you're going to pity, do it on a crossover, not a GS banner, except for this all-star banner. This is the one exception. This is a very good banner for new unit or new players only. So if you want to pity on a banner and you're new, this is a great one. And then for GS specific, for Alch, this is where I would spend your Alch. Because if we go right here, this is the Mina's banner. There's only 15 units on this banner. So you have a 1 in 15 chance of getting this unit. And that's a lot better than the crossover rates. So I would recommend you spend your Alch on this banner. Most of the time, just save your Alch. And then if there is a GS specific unit that you do like, I would recommend you spend your Alch on that unit instead of your gems. And then for crossovers, if there's a crossover you like, I would recommend you spend your crystals on that crossover and save your Alch. Okay, and then for the GS equips, I don't really recommend you're going to summon on them if there is an equip banner, because like this all-star equip banner, it's not that great. Like, let's say I get True Completus Trio right here. Cool. This is only really good on Islid. Most other units, it's just not good on, so I wouldn't recommend you summon on any of these banners. On the GS equip banners, they're just not the greatest. And then we have seasonal equip banners, which come around on like Halloween, Christmas, and like summer banners. Those ones are extremely good, and you can get a ton of good equips from them. I would recommend usually just pitying an equip, and then on your way to pitying whatever equip you want, you can get a bunch of other good equips. Those are the seasonal equip banners. Okay. And then down here at the bottom, we just have a bunch of free stuff, like all these free tickets, and super forever summons are super important. Summoner's Lottery, free daily summons, and the hero summon, just a free 5-star ticket. Do all of these if you have them, obviously. They're free. There's no reason not to do them. Okay. And next up, we have the shop. So there is actually one thing in here for free-to-play players, and that is the first time for the Crystal Pass. I already got it, so I can't really show you, but the first time you get the Crystal Pass, it will be completely free. You don't even have to put in any information. I heavily recommend you just grab it. It lasts for a month, and you get tons and tons of free stuff. So heavily recommend you just grab the Crystal Pass. It'll be free. Literally don't even have to put anything in. You just click buy, and then you have it on your account for 30 days. Okay, and then next up we have equips. So if we go to equips, there's only 3 buttons you're really going to like care about here, and that's going to be enhance, limit break, and sell. So if we click on enhance, this is where you can upgrade your equips and make their stats better. So like we go here to True Exceeds X. I don't have the proper materials right now to upgrade it, but if I did upgrade it, it would get a little bit better of an attack stat, and it would upgrade its skill. So let's go to one that I actually can upgrade, like Gargantua right here. So it's going to upgrade its defense stat and make its skill a little bit better. So very, very useful. And then we also have the limit break button, where you can go to, let's say I want to go to my True EX gate and I want to limit break it. So limit breaking an equip, I don't have any LB stones. That's tragic. But let's go to True Exceeds X. Click on it. Here we have LB stones, and this is going to make it so right here you see the cooldown for this equip is 50 seconds. Boom, 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 boom. And now it's down to 45 seconds. So this one I'm probably not going to spend my LB stones on, because it's only a 5-second difference. It's nothing that crazy. I don't really want to just waste them all right there. They are very valuable. So we're going to save them for a better equip. Is there any other equip that I want to LB? But like this one right here goes from 40 seconds to 30 seconds. So maybe if it was a great equip, you might think about it. But yeah, it'll just take down that cooldown. Okay, and then the sell button. Equips are a little complicated because to start out, you're not going to want to sell any of your equips because they are all sort of useful. Like you can see, I'm even using these 1-star equips because none of my units are limit broken, so they just have room for this, and I don't really have too many equips, so I'm using these 1-star equips. So to start out, don't sell any of them. But once you get further in the game, I would recommend, like, it is perfectly fine to sell all the 1-star and 2-star equips. And then for 3-star equips, you're going to want to keep a fairy teardrop. Here, I'll go to the compendium and actually show you what I'm talking about, just so it's a little bit easier to understand. So right here, we have a fairy teardrop. This is one of the ones you're going to want to keep just because it heals disease. And then we have right here, Karks. This is one you're going to want to keep because it gives 30% accuracy. Okay, and then you're going to want to keep all of the 3-star defenses that you don't have a better 4-star version of. So this one right here is just reducing damage and dark damage. Okay, so if you have a better dark DR 4 equip or 4-star equip, you probably don't need to keep this. But if you don't, I would say keep it. Okay, and then for the 4-stars, just keep most of them. Some of them aren't really going to do anything. Like, what is this one? Ouroboros. Yeah, it doesn't have an effect, so you could definitely just get away with selling this. Same thing for 5-stars. Most of them you're going to want to keep, but there is a couple that just don't have effects. So if we go to this equip right here, you can see it doesn't have any skill. So you can just sell this for like 300 alch, and it's not going to matter too much. And then 6-stars, don't ever sell these. They're just kind of like, it's a flex to have a 6-star, so don't sell them. Okay, and then we go to the units, and right here, if you click on manage equipment, this is where you can actually equip your equips. And then we have enhance luck buff. So we go here, let's get off Shiro, he's already all the way enhanced. We go to Fen right here. Right here is where you can select, we want to use our metal chickens, which you can use to give your units XP and level them up. And there's Tasmons down here that level up your units' stats. So this one's going to level up their attack, this one's going to level up their defense, and this one's going to level up their HP. So set that. You can see right here, it's leveling up their stats, and it's just leveling up them, which also levels up their stats. So, and then we click enhance. This is going to cost some gold, so make sure you have some gold. And then if we go to luck buff right here, this is a little bit later in the game, but if you are to this point where you have a unit with a bunch of luck, I would recommend the first thing that you get is the crest. It's just a flex, and you can equip a crest that just makes the unit better. Okay, and then next up on the units tab, we have the Evolve, Awaken, Ascend, Dream. So we go right here. I don't think, okay, we can awaken this one, but you need materials. And this is going to make their stats better. It's going to make their art better. And for some units, it's going to unlock a true art. And for some, like Shiro here, any ascended unit, it's going to unlock a super art, which is very useful. So then they'll have an art, true art, and super art. But for all your awoken units, they're going to have at max, once you max them out, they'll have an art and a true art. And you can either awaken them with a bunch of different fragments or just a bunch of soul gems. So I don't have enough. This is going to get expensive if you don't have a lot of them. So I would recommend to try and do it this way. But if you don't have these and they're not coming out for a couple days, you might just want to swipe this way and spend a bunch of soul gems to immediately just awaken them. And then we have the limit break button. Limit breaking your units is going to make their slots better. So right now he has a 5-star support, 4-star defense, and 2-star heal. If we throw this limit break on him, his 2-star heal will get upgraded to a 3-star heal. So once you get them all the way maxed out, once you get them fully limit broken, you can make your units much better, and you can equip better equips onto them. So it's extremely important that you limit break your units. Okay, and then after that we have the sell button. This one's a lot simpler than the equips. You're going to sell all of your 3 stars and all of your 4 stars. The only one that you can really make like any argument for is probably Phoenix, just because if you don't have a healer, he can be a healer. He's not a great one, but he can be a healer. So that's the only one I would make an argument for, but still, you can just sell all of them. They're going to give you a ton of alch. So yeah, I would just heavily recommend you just sell them. Okay, and then 5 stars, you can sell all them too. Awoken units, never sell your awoken units. Okay, you would just go here to limit break, and then click right here on duplicates, and then right here click, because if you sell your awoken unit, you're going to get 500 alch for it. But if you limit break, you're going to get 500 alch, and if they're max LB, you'll get a rainbow gem. So this is what you would want to do. Instead of selling it, if I sold it, I would only get 500 alch. But because he's max LB, I'm going to get a rainbow gem and 500 alch. And if he wasn't max LB, I would still be getting 500 alch. So there is no reason you should ever sell an awoken unit. It's just not worth it at all. So definitely just limit break your dupes. It's so much better. And once you get a ton of max LB units, you will start to be able to just like farm rainbow gems, and you will always have a bunch of rainbow gems, and it's very, very useful. Okay, and then we are going to go to the town. So first thing I want to go over is the shiny stuff right here. Clicking on it just gives you free stuff, and who doesn't like free stuff? Like, look at this. I just got a bunch of food. Okay, and then right here in the little pond, I just got some gold, more food, and some materials. Okay, and then right here, we're going to get a bunch of materials for upgrading our items. Right, and these reset every couple hours, so just make sure you're doing that. It's free, and you're going to get a bunch of mats. Super easy thing to do. And then here in the shrine, we go to the compendium and units, and here you have like achievements. So once, this is what it's going to look like once you open it. Click right here, and then click achievements, and it'll show you all the units that have achievements completed. And then if you go here, you can get a ton of free rewards just by playing the game. So very, very easy to get, and the rewards are pretty nice. And then next up we have the diner, which you can go to cook food, and food is just going to be used before a battle to give you a buff. So this one, it's going to buff your attack by 7%, HP by 7%, defense by 7%, you know. And there's a bunch of different food. Right here, you can click on all the food you have. So tons of it. And then right here, for maybe a veteran player, you can get up to an absurd amount of cheese. Like maybe you have 10,000 cheese. You can sell them, so they're not like absolutely filling up your gift box. You can sell them, and very useful if you have an absurd amount of cheese. And then we have mines. This is a unique endless game mode, and it is only out sometimes. So right now it is out, and this is what it looks like. But most of the times, I'm pretty sure this is just going to be like blank or like not lit up, and you won't be able to click it. And then other stuff in the town, we have the arena. This just takes you to the PvP in the game. I think it really needs an update, but some of the rewards are worth doing it, like rank up rewards and these rewards right here for just winning battles. They are worth it. And then we have the Adventurers Guild, which really needs an update. This thing is old, but you know, free stuff is free stuff. So you might as well just accept some quests and get some free rewards. Okay, and then we have the Smith, which is literally the same thing as clicking the equip button. And then the most important thing here is the Alchemist. We've already gone over how to sell your units and how to sell equips. Alch Summon, we've already gone over, that's just in the summons. But the new thing here is the exchange button. So this is where you can go to exchange a ton of different stuff. So right here is your true equips. I would recommend that you exchange the crossover true equips first, because once the crossover leaves, these will no longer be here. And then you're going to have to wait till the crossover reruns to get the unit's true weapon. And all the other stuff that's in here that's not from crossovers, that's always in here. So you always have time to get those. And then we have, there's just a bunch of different stuff to exchange, like based on the crossover and all that stuff. Like pitying right here, true equip exchange, so many different things, event exchanges. You can access all of those things other ways, but the unique stuff in here is like this alchemy exchange. And in here, you can get LB stones, which if you really need them, they're here. And you can spend your alch on it. I would still recommend you just spend your alch on alch summoning. But there's also these equips and these chickens. I would not recommend you get these because these chickens, especially like these equips are pretty useless. But these chickens can be added to a party, but not sold or used to enhance. So you literally just can't use the chickens. So I wouldn't recommend you get them. They will just fill up your box and they'll just be stuck there forever. You cannot get rid of them. Same thing with the Tasmans. But then these tickets right here, they should be at the top. I heavily recommend that you purchase these tickets. They are extremely useful and can be used in the Alchemist. So more stuff that you will figure out what to do with it later. But the main things we want to talk about right here is these 4 at the bottom. So these are the tickets that you just bought from the Alchemy Exchange. And what I would recommend you buy from them is the 4-star equip. I would recommend you get, scroll down because I already bought them, the Blessed Necklace, the Divine Staff Keon, or any of the 4-star defense equips. For the 5-star, I would recommend you get the Hime Ajisai, don't know if I pronounced that correctly, and then any of the 5-star defense equips. Okay, and then for the True Equip Exchange, I would recommend the first thing that you get to be the True EX Gate. And then if you have a unit with a good 5-star magic, I would get True Exceeds X. And if you have a unit with a good 5-star physical, I would recommend, where is it? True Izanagi. Okay. And I think that's really it. If you need a defense equip, you could probably get True Flambardo. And then if you need a break equip, you could get True Knight's Glow. Okay, and then Ultimate Hero Exchange. The units I would recommend from this is, I would heavily recommend Fen. He should be near the bottom, but right here, Fen. He has his own Archgen type, kinda. He is type A, which is extremely unique to just Fen. So, heavily recommend that you get Fen. We will go over Archgen type in a second, too. And then we have, next up, Sandstone, if you need a tank. So let me find her real quick. Sandstone right here. She's a okay tank to start the game out with. And then we have, if you already got Fen, I would recommend getting Norn. I think she's up here a little bit more. Maybe eventually. Norn right here, or Shiki. So those are the 4 units I would recommend. And I think that's it. We'll go over Archgen types right now. So, Archgen types, we're going to go to the compendium to just show it, because I don't really have any Archgeners on this account yet. So, Archgen types. You can go right here to Arts Gauge, and then there's all this different types of Arts Gauge autofill. So, autofilling Arts Gauge, click on that one. This is going to just show you everybody that is in Archgener, right? And then the general rule of thumb is if they are a GS unit, so like HK Roy, and they do not have any sort of condition, they are going to be a type B Archgener. And then if they are a crossover unit with no sort of condition, like Hoka, they are going to be a type E Archgener. Okay. And then if they are, there's a bunch of them like this. They are type F Archgeners, like Beta, who has the condition of being over 50% HP. And if they are the same Archgen type, they will not stack arts. So HK Roy is a type B, and Islid is also a type B. You should not be using them on the same team because their Archgen will not stack. So I would not recommend you run them on the same team. So like running Hoka and Sunraku on the same team, not a good idea. Their Archgen doesn't stack. And there's plenty of examples of this. There's just a ton of archgeners you should not run together because their archgen does not stack. Okay, and then that's it for all the like tips. Now we're going to go over what you actually would want to fight to start out. So I would recommend you start with a couple main story quests. Just finish a couple of them. You'll get a bunch of gems. They should be pretty easy. And then once you're done with those, or once you're sick of them, or once they get to be a little bit harder, you're going to want to go to exploring. And then you can do the daily quest. I would heavily recommend the Tower of Initiation is a good thing to start with. The assault event down here will give you a bunch of gems. Each of these gives you 5 gems, so free gems. This resets every week. And then we have training right here, which you can just get a ton of free stuff. Most of these are super, super easy. And then we have the materials button. You're going to skip over the giant boss for now. These are a little bit harder, so I would just wait on them. But you go to materials, you can get a ton of free materials. This one is going to give you materials to upgrade your equips. This one's going to give you materials to evolve your units. And then we have the boot camp. This is where you can get your Tasmons to level up your unit's stats, your gold cats, which you can sell for gold, your metal chickens, which you can use to level up your units, and the Holy Land of Experience, which can be used to also level up your units. But one thing is, once you get an ascended unit and you ascend them, you cannot use chickens to level them up. One of the ways you can level them up is to just throw them in the Holy Land of Experience and auto it, and they should level up fairly quickly. And then after that, I mean, you can just try and do everything. You probably won't get very far, but like this right here, you should be able to do a couple quests in all of the crossover missions. Like this one right here, I'm probably not going to be able to clear this, but that brings up another good point. So right here, this one is blue, which means it's solo only. You can only do that one by yourself, but this one right here, it's red, so you can do it in multiplayer. So if I click on it, it gives me the option to either do it by myself or go into a multiplayer lobby where other players can help me. So if you cannot beat something and you can do it in multiplayer, I heavily recommend just do it in multiplayer. Other people can help you clear stuff and make the game a lot easier and a lot more fun. And I really think that's it. And also doing multiplayer, you can get a ton of free gems just by finding and playing with new people. You get like 5 gems for playing with a new person, and I'm pretty sure you can get like 140 or like 180 gems just by playing multiplayer completely for free. So yeah, that's just going to be, I think that's it for the video. Just a bunch of different tips and tricks. Again, if you thought of something that I forgot to mention, please leave a comment down below and just help out the community. And yeah, that's what I would start with. And that's what I have started with because, you know, it's kind of hard to do some of this content with just Shiro and a couple other Awoken units I don't even know the name of. But, you know, boot camp is a great place to start. The main story is a great place to start. Tower of Initiation, daily quest, training camp, great places to start. So that's where I'm starting. And hopefully soon, slowly, probably, I will work my way up and start being able to do some of these crossover quests and all this other stuff in the game. That also brings me to something. If we go here, like, how do we want to end this series? I'm thinking currently, after beating one Summoner's Road. That's how we would end the series. Once I beat one of the Summoner's Roads, I think we're good. And hopefully by then, I have given enough tips and tricks, and you should be able to play the game after beating one Summoner's Road. But leave a comment. What do you think? When should this series end? But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord. The link is in my channel description. And yeah, that's it. See ya!